Welcome back to the Football Exponential podcast. I'm Chika and I'm joined by Frank.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of our amazing show. It's good to have you guys again. Chika, how
Yeah,
you doing?
I'm fine. It's been a long time, right? Did we have a recording
Yeah, it's
last week?
been
No, we
we
had it
done
on
one.
Saturday. I
Yeah,
suspect.
exactly,
Yeah,
we done
yeah, I
one.
suspect
Yeah,
that. Okay. Of the today we're expecting snow. It's predicted a heavy snow, but we are yet to see one. We don't have anyone for now.
oh, okay,
So let's
okay.
quickly. If you're watching us right now, please smash the like button, subscribe, follow, share, drop comments so we can continue providing you with very, very good episodes or podcasts. Let's go to the first one. There are rumors, I don't know how true it is, but I feel there's no rumor without an element of truth that
Yeah.
Manchester United's Garnacho has been linked with Chelsea. And how do you see the move?
Okay. Oh, well, if it's I think if it's a
Excuse me,
transfer,
sorry. For more context, let me for our
yeah,
audience, let me say some things. He's a 20-year-old, but he looks like he's been like 25 because I think he's been there for like the last 3 years, ever present. He has played this season. He has played 31 games across all competitions, 8 goals, 5 assists. Last season,
yeah.
I think was his most important season. It wasn't his breakout, but I think it was very important. He had maybe breakout. He had 50 games, 10 goals, 5 assists. So, how do you think he's a good move for Chelsea? And I think he can play from both sides of the. He can play on the, where's his best position?
Um, on the bench.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think about the move?
Okay. So if Chelsea Chelsea's ownership group decided to make an attempt to send Garnacho to help strengthen their sister team in France, Strasbourg. I'll say that that's a fantastic move. You send him to Strasbourg on loan for a couple of seasons. He learns to play football again. He improves on the little elements of his game that he needs to improve on. He's playing away from the Premier League, and not as much pressure. He can become a good player. But if you're signing Garnacho to come into this Chelsea's team, that's just terrible business. I'm afraid to think of who's seen Chelsea this season, or the director, the sporting directors, or whatever, and said, "Okay, this Chelsea team, you know what will make this team better? Garnacho." That's it. I'm I'm a big fan of Chelsea's new sporting directors and the overall recruitment team. I go. I always try to bring a balanced argument when I talk about them and how they've operated with Chelsea. But I feel if this deal does happen, I doubt it will happen, but if it does happen, I think this is the deal that will make me question everything. Like
Well,
is a terrible deal.
can I come in? Why?
But
Why
yeah,
you've been ranting about why is a terrible deal? Why? What do you have against the young boy, or what do you have against Chelsea
he's not
going for him?
well. No, because I think Chelsea at the moment
Because
where
I felt it
no,
wasn't going to happen. I dismissed it as a rumor, but I saw
I
something
know
that
it.
made me think it's possible. Chelsea might be thinking about that. He's 20 years of age, and we all know Chelsea like to
Mm,
trade assets. One of the first reasons why Chelsea bought Neto was because of his injury record. If Neto was fit and playing every game and was
and his
doing
agent and
yeah, and his
and his
and,
agent as well.
and his agent, Chelsea wouldn't have signed him. You look at Sancho also. Sancho had disciplinary problem. He had attitude problem. So they allege,
But that,
but
exactly,
that's the
exactly.
reason Chelsea signed him. So you look at Chelsea. Joao Felix was so close to requirement. Chelsea signed him. So with the problem he's having at United, I'm thinking that they might be considering signing him, but I don't know if they will finally sign him. So what do you have against the deal going through? What do you have against
No, because well, I think it's a couple of reasons. One, it doesn't Chelsea are in a position where the next few signings they make are signings that need to come into the team and have an impact on this team because I feel Chelsea are close to something good. They have the ingredients for something good. They just need that finishing product, be it a defender, a striker, or goalkeeper. And I don't think Garnacho solves any of our problems in the present or in the near future. Because I don't because we have Sancho on our books who's a player that's technically on loan with an obligation to buy end of the season. We're still finding a way to bring the
Who's that?
best out of this player. Sancho.
Okay.
So we're still finding a way to get the best out of this player, build his confidence back up, and find a way to get him performing in this team. And adding Garnacho into this whole situation, I just think it's for me. Say no, we have. I believe we have better prospects in our academy than Garnacho. So
I get it.
that's
I
enough.
get it though, but this is where this I felt it wasn't a good move. I didn't really like the move, but having thought about it today, sitting down today, I'm not against the move. I won't be excited, but I won't be. This is why he's 20 years of age, 31 games, 8 goals, 5 assists, 50 games, 10 goals, 5 assists. You look at where is his best position. I don't care about where his best position. If he wants to play for Chelsea, he can play on the left. Is he an upgrade to Sancho? Is he an upgrade to Modric? I bet you he's an upgrade to me. And this is
I
why.
don't think so.
This is why Modric to me, I think his career in Chelsea is done. If they, I keep praying that
It's
the test results comes out negative, which hardly happens, which
yeah.
doesn't happen 90% of the time. But if it comes
Mm.
out negative, then I'm good. But if it comes out positive, you are looking at close to a year ban, and I don't see him coming back. No, I'm just
If
giving.
you
If he appeals
if
it,
yeah
it
if
could
you're
be
lucky if you're
it
lucky
could be it could
if
be
you're
3 years. But I think they start counting it from when you've been suspended, because right now he's suspended. I think that's when they start counting it, because it's unfair to
okay,
count it the day the judgment was delivered. So now,
yeah.
if he comes, he can't be away from Chelsea for 1 year. He's not Eden Hazard. So once he leaves Chelsea to serve the ban, I don't think he's coming back. That's one. Do I like Garnacho better than Sancho? Yes, and these are my reasons. There's something Garnacho has that is very, very difficult. You don't teach it. He has it. Aggression.
Yeah, but
McTominay
yeah,
had
yeah,
it, and that's why I
yeah.
had problem with them disposing of McTominay. He has that aggression. He could come from the bench and make things happen, and he knows how to score goals. He might miss more than he scores, but if you look at the goals he scored, this is the problem I have with him. He makes the wrong decision at the most important time. When it's time for him to shoot, he passes. When it's time for him to pass, he shoots. But he has the aggression, and when you have aggression, coaches might decide to keep you so you can come from the bench and influence things. That is it. He has the
Yeah,
aggression, he
yeah,
can start.
eh,
Sancho doesn't score goals for me. Can I get a better
and
player? And
yeah, but
he's English. When I mean he's English, he's been in England. No, not nationality English, but he counts
yeah,
as
I know
an
homegrown. It
English
counts
product
as a
because he's
home
been long
as a
enough in
homegrown
England.
player.
So you're
No,
not thinking about acclimatizing up, because if you can't get somebody now, it will take like 1 year, 2 years for the
no,
person to get used
no.
to it. So this is why I don't think it's really a bad deal. But the
It's
problem I have is his attitude. There's something
yeah,
wrong. Yeah.
it's and that's what I feel like you said, you made some good points in the bigger picture with Chelsea and Sancho not scoring enough goals. But I also feel I think Garnacho reminds me a bit of Timo Werner, for example, where he has the pace, but the actions is he's not consistent with his actions, be it dribbling, passing, creating chances. It's just not consistent enough. So, and I feel I personally believe the signings Chelsea should be looking to make are signings that are coming to the team that can increase take you to great heights, increase I call them ceiling raisers, where they come in, they improve the team not immediately, but you can see the clear idea of how the team gets better with them in the team. Like we see the obvious ones like Cole Palmer, for example. I think we need I'd rather Chelsea focus on players or look at players like Semenyo, for example, Brian Mbeumo's players that have good good Premier League characteristics, but also score goals. They have the pace, the intensity, but are very good Premier League players. They have very good finishing. They create as well. They play with intensity. I feel those are the kind of players Chelsea is looking at. But I also feel with the bigger picture, if you look at the whole what's happened, I don't think it's a coincidence that it's been reported in the media Garnacho and Kobe Mainoo have been linked to Chelsea in the last couple of weeks. And these are two players that academic. Well, Garnacho was bought, but if you sell Garnacho for anything right now, you can make a massive
Younger
profit.
kind of player, yeah.
I I don't think it's a consider that United they need to get cash from somewhere. So I won't be surprised if one or if not two of them leave, because Garnacho, even on tactically with what Ruben Amorim wants for this is for his United team. I don't think there's a straight fit for Garnacho in that team. Well,
And
I don't believe he
and
plays well.
also when you check it, also this is the case. This is why I make a case for Garnacho. I'm not saying Chelsea should sign him, even as a Chelsea fan, but
So
If
you
you look
like him
at
as a player
Garnacho,
then?
he said,
You like him as a player?
I like his aggression.
But it's
If,
not
let
quality.
me give you an
I know,
example. Let me give you
I
an
know,
example. Let me
but
give you an example of. Let me give you an example of what I call aggression. Derek George has a good technique. Derek George can. Rashford had that aggression when he burst into the scene. If you remember the game against,
yeah,
sometimes it goes well, it goes bad. With Garnacho, you know he's going to press. You know Jackson presses, Garnacho presses. You know from the front he's going to press. Right now, I don't think he's going to be a better player than Derek George, but in development, they're almost similar age. Derek George might be 18 or 17.
yeah,
Garnacho, what's where he is, the experience he has, the way he
yeah,
plays football, he is way ahead of his age. If I checked it, he's 20. But the
yeah.
games
I
he
know.
has played, you understand what I'm trying to say? So
Understand, understand.
he's at a level where, yeah, continue.
Is a lot further in his football development compared to a player like Tariq John. But also there's this I think we as football fans we always get it wrong sometimes where we see a young player like Garnacho, he's quite young, 20 years old, and we project what his development can be the next few years if he gets better as he plays. But sometimes football player development is not a linear journey. Sometimes this could be it. This could be as good
Yeah,
as it
this
gets
could
as a
be,
football player.
yeah, this could be it.
And of course, we can't tell. But it's just good to have the right players in the right environment, in the right tactical framework to perform well. But I just feel really actually,
But
if you need to,
back in the days for Manchester United, if there was a club, I would never touch any of their players. It was Manchester growing up. Their players, where they were, was where they will end their career. The likes of Phil Neville, the like of West
yeah,
Brown, but when you get them, they don't really go higher. They just give you that level. If you remember what I'm trying to say,
yeah,
they give you a
exactly.
consistent level. They don't really go higher. So is he going to be at this level for the rest of his career? It looks likely, but well,
But another player who was also linked to Chelsea in the last couple of weeks was Kobe Meno, and that's a player I'll guess for Chelsea.
I don't really
If
know.
you can get
I don't fancy Kobe. I don't fancy Kobe
you know,
because
no problem.
I have Andre Santos. So I need
Yeah,
goals.
I know, but I think you need. I also think you need players a player that can pass. We've not seen Andre Santos in the Premier League yet, so but he's doing fantastic all over France. But if you have to make a deal, because the way I say that, I say Chelsea having two players or a couple players where United would like to have or fit into the United system. Christopher Nkunku, who also has a good relationship with one of the United's interim sporting directors, Christopher Vevell, was the one who
Uh-huh.
brought Nkunku to Chelsea.
Okay.
So I feel I won't be surprised if there's an interest in bringing him across to Manchester United, and he can fit into the tactical framework at United these days. But it will be interesting to see. But for me, I I'm begging Napoli to come and buy him. I'm begging I don't want to see I don't want
But
to see
McTominay is doing
Garnacho
well
out.
in Napoli, I think so. So,
Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well. He's doing fantastically well. Yeah, but Garnacho for me, that's a no. I think
but
you're more.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the league or it's because of the player or it's because of the coach. There are some players that are not good that look like they are not good enough. They go to entirely different league and they are balling. I remember
Yeah,
someone, Anguissa.
Anguissa. Yeah,
When he was in Fulham, I'm like, but
it's
right
had
now he's
fun out.
totally. But if he plays for Cameroon, I see the same Fulham player. There's really, you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, yeah,
the league or something. Let's go to the next one.
yeah.
Okay. It's a topic for another day. Let's go to the next one. Let's go with City. City has been. It has been reported that City have agreed. Is it 80 million euros?
It I think it's euros, 75 million euros. It could be in pounds, but I think 75 million euros to rise to 80 million with add-ons
Yeah,
for
for Egyptian
Omar
Omar
Mamouche.
Mahmoud. Yeah.
Uh, that's that that's a massive deal. And if you look
So
at the different,
for more context for our viewers, he's a he's a free kick specialist. He's very good with free kicks. But you look at him, you'll be thinking he's a very young boy. He's not. He started football early, but he's already 25. He's 25 now. For more context, let me explain a little better. He started his career with Wally Deglia, and then he played only 18 senior games. He moved to Wolfsburg, played 3 years. It took 3 years to
He
make his debut.
barely
He took
he,
three
he
years to make his
barely
debut. Sir?
he barely had an impact at Wolfsburg, which
Yeah,
is
he barely.
surprising.
Yeah, it
He
took
barely
three
had
years to
an
make
impact.
a debut, and then he played only 1 minute when he made the debut. They moved him to St. Paul, and then he scored 7 goals, 3 assists in his first 21 appearances. Then he went on loan again to Stuttgart, and he second season, second career season, Stuttgart. Oh, third, because the first one he made 1 minute appearance. So the third career season he was at Stuttgart, 23 games. This Bundesliga games, 3 goals, 5 assists, not eye catching. Then after that, he came back to Wolfsburg, but Wolfsburg decided to let him go on free. They weren't convinced. Whoever let him go, will right now. I'm sure they will be thinking about sacking him if he still has a job. I don't care about the context.
I think with, I have a brief understanding with what Wolfsburg, because their current sporting director is he used to be the sporting director of FC Copenhagen. So he moved. So I believe the current sporting director wasn't the one responsible for his departure from Wolfsburg. But
Someone,
I think he came in, I think this time last year. So this is also he
no,
reminded me of.
I'm not against
He
them.
remind,
I'm not against them
I know,
selling him, but you don't let him go for free. You don't let
I
him
know,
go.
I know,
You get money in
I know,
return.
but I think the interesting part in this whole conversation is just it's Frankfurt's ability to find strikers across Europe. Either they get them on the free, or they find little, or strikers are not having the best of times, like Hugo Ekiti, who was on loan who was at PSG. They got on loan. They eventually signed him on a permanent deal. And the most recent one is Kolo Randall Mwani.
One, yeah.
Randall Kolo Mwani, who Franco signed on the free transfer and sold for about 80 million pounds to PSG.
Hmm.
And he didn't really have the best of time there. And if you look at it, Frankfurt's history with strikers, particularly in the last few years,
They do it, strikers.
has been remarkable. They've got some really good return of ROIs on their investment in that department. But Omar Mush is another one. But the worry I have, because it's an expensive deal, big transfer fee, the wage package looks big. He'll be 26 next month, and if you're signing him to come play in one of the wide positions, I think that's a mistake. Unless you're signing him to tactically, the only way I see it making sense tactically is if he's coming in to play behind Mercedes number 9, the Norwegian, and
Yeah.
that's if they can get this
Haaland.
that double 10 situation with Haaland, Marmoush behind him with Foden, something like that. But if he's coming in, I don't know, because it's a big price tag, and that comes with a lot of pressure and a
That's a
lot
big
of
time.
expectations
But
as well.
it's a
So
big price tag. But why, if I'm him, I would think about the deal. But what would make me consider moving is that when you have Haaland, you don't be thinking about whether to move or not. Because even if you are signed for 150 million, you have Haaland scoring the goals. Nobody's going to talk about you. They only start talking about you. Jack Grealish hasn't scored for in as much as 1 year or whatever. But really, the hit is not on him because maybe Haaland is
yeah,
scoring.
because
So
yeah,
the,
because
the problem, you look at Chelsea, immediately Chelsea were 1 goal up. Jackson created the goal. Jackson missed some chances. Nobody said anything. As soon as Chelsea conceded and it was 1-1, they blamed Jackson for not scoring. So if you have Haaland scoring the goals, I think it reduces your pressure. Look at Doku. Look at Doku. Look at this is Savinho, the Brazilian guy. What's his
Savinho,
name?
yeah,
Savinho.
yeah, Savinho.
Yeah, you look at Grealish, they've not been scoring, but Haaland has been scoring. So I think having Haaland around him gives him an insurance, a sort of insurance. I looked at his record. Um, uh, six. When he joined Frankfurt, he scored 6 goals in his first 10 games. 2023, 2024, this season already. Oh, last season he played 41. He made 41 appearances, 17 goals, 6 assists. This season already is 24 appearances. He scored 12, 18 goals, 12 assists. He scores a
Yeah,
goal every 98 minutes, and that is only behind Mohamed Salah in Europe's top five leagues. That's a massive record. But
impressive.
signing a defender and a striker from Bundesliga is a very big
Bundesliga tax.
is
Bundesliga, you have to,
because
yeah, you have to adjust for Bundesliga tax.
you have to
Yeah.
divide these 18 goals. I normally divide it by three to get what they're gonna
Uh,
score in Premier League. So if
yeah.
you divide
So
it, I'm looking at
yeah,
like seven. But I like it because he's a little bit physical. I like the way he
yeah.
plays.
His physical,
He's physical, and
his
he
physical.
plays like a striker who started on the wing or wide because he drifts in and out. So, uh, but I'm not
Yeah,
looking at him. I'm thinking, I don't know why they're even bringing him in January. This guy has a lot of
yeah.
talent.
It's
The
yeah.
first 1 year is
It's
gonna be a struggle to me. He can't, but he can do that. Some people, but history or empirical evidence have shown us that they not people normally struggle when they move. Haaland didn't struggle, but Haaland is not a regular player. Haaland is a rarity in football, like once in a
yeah,
generational talent. But normally, look at Nkunku. You will say, or you can blame the coach Enzo Maresca, or you can, but he also played under Pochettino, and towards the end he wasn't delivering also. So you start realizing that look at Werner, start realizing that the
yeah.
Bundesliga is a little bit different. I don't know.
It takes. I think it's a different beast. It's a fantastic league in its own right, but I believe it's a different beast to the Premier League, and it a few players who've made that transfer from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, especially the attacking players. And with Chelsea, we know this intimately. Kai Havertz, Nkunku, Timo Werner, these are big. These are all players that had amazing numbers in the Bundesliga, and they've moved over across to Chelsea, and they've really struggled to even hit any type of consistency or performances on the pitch. But with Marmoush, I feel it will be interesting to see how he gets on tactically, how he fits into the Man City team, and if he can come in and add a bit of spark, a bit of creativity, a bit more goals with Man City's recent form, it could be we can see a late title charge for Man City from this position.
I think, well,
If
if you
if he
remember Julio Al- Alvarez,
Alvarez, yeah,
Alvarez, if you remember, what was his position? He wasn't a
um,
striker.
he
He played
he
as
played just he played behind Erling Haaland, which is also interesting because he played a lot of minutes last season, so it was always Pep relied on him. Just that he didn't get to play in his natural position. But it's interesting to see how quickly Man City are getting their business done in January because and it's also interesting to see the positions they are strength they've made those signings. One in attack, they're bringing. I believe they're signing two centre backs, Stockley. But I'm surprised they've not made a move for the obvious one, a CM, a central midfielder, a player who can walk like good
but I
central
think it's gonna
midfielder.
be more expensive to do that. That's why they're keeping it
What?
last. It might be more expensive to do that.
No, but if you're ready to spend 80 million on a striker you don't really need, I'm sure you can get deals. There are players like even Douglas Luiz, who's at Juventus, who's been linked recently to Man City, is will be just a player you can just get to just come in and see how he performs in the short term. But I think yeah. What else do we have?
Let's see. But if I was him, because today I was watching so many of the games again, most of them that they played last yesterday, and I was seeing certain players that I might have counted out before, and I'm seeing they have the opportunity to play, they have the opportunity to make mistakes, they have the opportunity to grow. So sometimes I think for his career, City might have been, but City to their credit, they protect their players. Because if you look the
Yeah.
likes of Doku, the likes of Sabino, the likes of Grealish, I expected more fire, but maybe it's because of Pep takes all the blame or whatever, and then so maybe that's what enticed him. But to me, I would have preferred him to take it slowly, to have gone to another club, maybe a Fulham kind of club, a Bournemouth kind. But at 80 million, nobody's going to sign him for that amount. But But I
Yeah.
don't think for the first 1 year this season I don't expect anything from him. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Your team Tottenham again drop points this week. After playing losing 3-1 to
3-2 to
3
Everton.
3-2 to Everton, and then they handed David Moyes his first. Was it his first win?
Yeah. Yes, it's his first win as Everton, back as Everton coach. Yeah, and
And
it's also I think this is the first their first goals in the last five six Premier League games for Everton.
they've been abysmal for as regards to goal
Yeah,
scoring. The only
yeah,
team, the only team I think they are better than is maybe Leicester. Them Leicester maybe. I think Southampton even scores goal, but Leicester can't just buy a goal.
yeah,
But
yeah.
still
Leicester.
score them.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But it's yeah. Okay, with
And
Tottenham,
they've
do you
been Tottenham, but at the same time, do you know? I would not still say the season is a failure for Spurs.
it's not.
They're, they're,
Come on, man,
they're,
come
they're,
on.
they're in two competitions.
No, 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 no.
No, but
See, no, no,
I'm
and
just playing devil's
no.
advocate. If I'm looking
Okay,
at
yeah,
it,
yeah,
because Spurs
yeah.
fans want
See,
a trophy, so they always say they will take a trophy any day over finishing fourth. They say it.
okay,
So he's in the
okay.
semi-final and he just beat Liverpool. I'm just saying, if I'm Daniel Levy, maybe
So
he's
the
thinking
okay, so
about that before pulling the trigger. Yeah, he's in the.
okay.
Yeah.
Does my does winning the championship trophy does it count as one of these trophies Tottenham fans want?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
The
okay,
championship
okay,
is different.
okay, okay. Because at this rate, that could be the long term plan if this is what they're trying to achieve. Because ultimately, Tottenham are
12
15th on in the
losses,
Premier League table.
12 losses from
So,
22 games. That means they've lost
12,
more than 50% of their games in the league. That's
12,
bad.
12 losses. Tottenham have lost more games than Manchester United, Crystal Palace, West Ham. They've lost more games than Everton.
Yeah.
12 games. That's and the whole thing with
And
Ange,
the
because
way they
you
lose it,
know,
it's difficult to say they deserve to win this one. They just lose and you realize they just lost.
and it's a bit difficult to because I've been very. It's clear I have no love for Ange, the Tottenham coach. I didn't when he came in. I never really bought what he was trying to sell. I never saw the appeal. I didn't see any tactical brilliance he had in this team. I just felt they had a moment in the first 10 games last season. And after the result went sour, they've not been able to recover that form or any form since then. And my issue with him is a lot you see on social media. There was this tweet or this or something or so on X that's on okay. Calvert-Lewin has not scored in his last 15 Premier League games. His next opponents are Tottenham. He's definitely going to score.
And then he scored.
And and he took the Tottenham defense. He was moving like Prime Suarez against Dragostin and Gray. But my issue with it with
Calvin
Ange is
Lewin hasn't
tactically
scored in 16 straight games. The last time he
16.
scored 16 straight games. The last time he scored his first Premier League goal since um September 2014, 2024, Aston Villa. This is his first goal since
Yes,
September, October, November, December.
September.
In 4 months, this is his first goal. So
Yeah, and I know a lot of Tottenham fans going into this game. Sorry, there's I don't think they expected the win. They already know they already know how the story is going to end, and it's got to a point where they have no motion in this team. Tactically, a lot a lot of players just look out of form, out of shape. They don't look confident. They don't know what they are trying to do on the pitch. They just look lost. And with Ange, I just feel this is a journey that's just got a bit. I just think it's a job that's just got bigger than him than he expected it to be. And because it's always, 'cause like you say, you find out what a manager is really made about when the tough time comes, how they react to tough moments, injuries, bad results. And I felt when the bad result, and I'll go back to that Chelsea game last season when the Spurs went down to 9 men. And what and did tactically where he had Tottenham players on the halfway line, playing a high line with 9 men against the Chelsea team, and I felt that was the moment okay, this doesn't make sense. You won't see that at any level of professional football, even amateur football, where you
Yeah.
go down to 2 men, you're still trying to play a high line, but you're not pressing the ball. You're just playing the high line. And you see again, you saw a bit of that today where they're just playing a high line, but there's no press, there's no coordinated press, there's no coordinated movement to have how to win the ball back or how to contain the position. And it's just I feel players are just sinking in this team, and even the best of players like the Madison. I don't know what's happened to Madison in the last couple of months. He's just
But if I'm an agent and watching Tottenham, if you meet me for one of my players, I'm having reservations because the way Ant's playing, I think he's on his way out. And
if then no, no, I feel no, but I also feel it's not just in terms of result. I feel it impacts the player's health. There's a straight line between how you play, how you train, and the injuries you get in your team. Tottenham have about 13 first team injuries.
it's bad.
That's not that's not down to any sort of luck or being unlucky. There's something there where you have 6 hamstring injuries in your team. That's not luck. So what exactly we saw with Chelsea last season with Pochettino, where there was a time we had 2 goalkeepers injured, 14 a total of 14 first team players out injured. That's not coincidence. That's not luck. Either they're not being trained right on the of either they're not being trained right in terms of how you want them to play, or you're overworking them on the training ground, or they can't do what you need them to do. That's playing the high line, the high sprints, high intensity sprints. They just can't do it, and they're just snapping. You see, Solanke has gone down now. Is reportedly out for the next few weeks.
Their season is gone.
Um, so and it gets to the point.
And
Okay,
then I
and
was,
the
I was
question
writing down
will
something. The only players who have looked better than we thought they
are
were the
the
young
younger
one, yeah,
players.
Archer Gray,
Archer,
Spence. But the team is playing
Begval, and
so
the
bad that
goalkeeper.
you don't need to play so good to be different. But I'm just saying, but Archie Gray is the top. I like him. I like him. Archie Gray, Jordan Spence, the goalkeeper, is he Ukrainian or Czech? The new goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Check.
check.
I think he's good. Bergwijn and then Kukulevsky. That apart from
Yeah,
Kukulevsky,
Kulusevski.
every other person has been on the fringe. Like to me, with what Jordan Spence has displayed, you can sell him right now to maybe a team going down championship or a top team in the
No,
championship.
no. Why? No, why is selling Spence? You should build your backline around players like Spence and the other guys. He's good. And there's a whole divide amongst Tottenham fans. Okay, who's responsible for this bad season or this bad form, whatever it is? Is the manager to blame, or is it the owners, Daniel Levin and co? Well, I always feel
The blame is big enough to
yeah,
be shared by both.
exactly, yeah. There are valid points to go around, but
But
I know a lot of Tottenham fans.
this particular season is the manager.
Yeah,
The
but I want,
moment the
but
moment Levi sacked Pochettino, went to Mourinho,
that's
then
what we lost.
Mourinho was about
That's where they lost
that.
it.
That to me, I can't take my mind off sacking a manager a day before the whatever, some days before the finals. Like that to me, you don't want to achieve. Then you go there, you get Mourinho, you get Conte. So it tells me that what do you really want? That's where I hold him responsible. But the team building, I don't think is level. I think is Ange because Ange is
No,
signing those.
no, it's no, it's. I'll give it to both parties. But even in the team building, it's okay if you cannot question the direction the recruitment team has gone in terms of the players they signed in. But what you cannot deny is they've spent money
Yeah.
because the charge that was always levied against Daniel Levy was he doesn't spend money. They don't spend enough comparative to the other teams around them. But in the last few years, they spent way more than Liverpool have.
Yeah.
They have a 60 million pound striker. They have two attacking number 10s or two attacking midfielders that are worth 40 and 50
When they
million
spend money, look at
respectively.
Brendan
They
Johnson was
have
like it was like 45 million or something, or close to 50 million.
exactly that's 45. Brendan Johnson, they spent more on Brendan Johnson than Chelsea did on Cole Palmer. They have the Basumas, they have the Pentecost. This is
Yeah.
big players you spend big money on. But again, it
Jefferson
goes
was
back
like
to
30
the
something or more than 20 from Roma.
yeah,
Or was it Roma? No. Wasn't Roma, but it was an Italian
Well,
club. Genoa, I think so.
from
I think it's Genoa.
yeah,
Genoa.
Jonah. So going back, so I think I believe the original sin in this overall issue is when you decide to let go, when you decide to let go of Pochettino, who was at the time he went into Tottenham, or all those years ago, was a young up and coming manager that came from Southampton, was very fresh in his football ideas, and you depart from that ideology and go to something that's quite on Tottenham like in Jose
But,
Mourinho, who
but hold on. You're
Jose
right.
Mourinho.
This is the first time he's playing academy player. He didn't do that last season. Under Pochettino,
No
we are seeing
question.
so many academy. Remember something Mason,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
Mason,
yeah.
Benta left,
There
Harry
was
Winks.
Bentaleb, there was
He
Arrange, there
had
was
so many players. Yeah. Academy was pumping
well,
players.
I know, but even then the team had they had an identity where the football was exciting, was fast paced, high energy, high pressing, a lot of goals. But now you go to you know what Jose Mourinho is. He said it on the can. If you're bringing Mourinho into your team, you have to sign the high caliber players that can deliver what he wants. And when you don't get that, or when he doesn't get that, then there's a disconnect. He eventually goes, which, like you said, sacking him a week before cup final. That's unheard of. Then you instead of course correcting, you double down on that same approach. You bring in Antonio Conte, who's probably more fiery than Jose Mourinho. That doesn't work out because he goes on that rant in that infamous press conference after a draw against Southampton, and he basically called the club. He basically tells the club they can't win because they don't have an identity. They're a bunch of losers. The club isn't good enough. All that. He gets sacked. You then go with Nuno Espirito Santo, who never worked out.
Oh,
But we can,
yeah.
but, but we're seeing
Yeah,
now,
then
like the
they went
issues.
with Conte's assistant also
Yeah,
for a
but we're
game.
seeing now with what Nuno's doing doing with
Nottingham
Nottingham
Forest.
Forest. Conte had come back to Italy. Conte is topping the Serie A table now. Napoli. These are all good coaches. This is the issue was never Conte because we all know Conte is if you back him, he delivers for you. And with Nuno, if you get the conditions are right, he can create a team that can play good football and get results. And with Tottenham now, they're stuck in this place. So okay, I believe they have to make the decision to let
Uh-huh.
Ange go because I just feel it's at this point it's a waste of everybody's time. But then the next decision would be the most important Tottenham decision they've probably made in a very long time. Because if they get another coach wrong in terms of their either be it tactically or the ideology of the coach, this could because right now the way a lot of teams are going through change and a lot of teams have evolved. We see Aston Villa now, Newcastle now, they're all around that same position. That's top seven,
Yeah.
top eight position. Even if a team like Nottingham Forest are there as well, Bournemouth. So you can't afford to get lost in the whole thing. Because if you get lost, you get stuck in where United are, where you just have a bunch of overpaid players that are just not good.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you just get left. The divide gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's I think it'll be a tough decision, but I also feel it's a call they have to make because I just think Ange he can't save the situation. It's only going to get worse with him in charge. So but the question, okay, if you get rid of him, who do you then bring in? Personally, I believe there are tons of good managers. There are good managers out there. There are a lot of good managers out there. Um, I'm not his biggest fan, but this there before one is not a bad shout.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you a very sincere question, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm a manager. You're an owner. You pay the bills. You own the club. You were part of those who did the interview or the hiring, but you just didn't do the
yeah.
hiring.
Mm-hmm.
The team is losing, and the team is losing because of a certain style or a certain way I'm playing.
Yeah.
And you call me for a
And
meeting,
some, yeah,
and you said, I don't really care. When I mean I don't care, it doesn't mean he doesn't like it, but it's just that
yeah,
that's not his priority, right? My priority right now is winning games. So if you have to twerk the system, twerk the system. If you have to double down and even become more intensive in your system. Double down. The problem is if we lose or if we keep losing, then I have problem with you. Do you think
And
the
how would
coach or the coaches should listen to the owners or to the club? Because all this Russell Martin had it at Southampton. We know it's not working. Because 100%, I don't know what they say when they go for interviews. They will not come to the chairman or to the board and say, I have option A, and if it doesn't work, I'll double down on option A. It's going to work.
yeah, and
Because these are managers that
it's
sure
also
to the job. These are managers. You know before the next person is sacked, then another one is waiting. You understand what it's not like they all apply, they want to be in the job.
yeah.
So why
Yeah,
is it that they don't want to change the style?
but again, it's because it's gone so far from the initial vision with Ange when he first came that even today he went in the first half he went with a back three formation, and I don't think I don't believe Tottenham played a back three formation this season. And okay, I understand. Okay, you're adjusting, you're making changes based on injuries or the system, but you don't change your formation going away to Everton, the team that hasn't scored a goal in 5 games. Because what that did is they lost bodies in midfield. Everton won the midfield battle, and because players were not quite sure how to defend in the back three, they got punished. And by the time he made the change at halftime, the game was already you're already 3 goals down. You're practically done. But I think it's something where if we have the conversation, okay, do you feel it's a situation where okay, we have a lot of players injured, and if you can get some players coming back, our performances will improve, and we might get off the table. And as you said earlier, they have a couple they're still in 3 cup competitions that
Mhm.
they can probably win, but it's Tottenham don't win anything, so that won't happen. And it's really just a situation where you just say, okay, this is a write off. If players get back, we do some good business next in the summer. It will be better, but are there any signs that this can get better? Are there any signs that has Ange giving you as an observer anything to believe in going forward? Do you because I feel is it's just there's nothing there. It's just you might as
And
well it, because I feel something that has got into Andrew was the fact that he came into the Premier League without I'm not going to say coming into
so people didn't
I'm not going to
question
say
this. They gave him a lot of pass.
yeah no because he said
They
the right
hit
thing.
Nuno Espirito received from the first day he stepped into that building. I knew it wasn't going to last.
It's branding.
And
It's brand because when you see a manager at Celtic who's playing this amazing way, high intensity, if
yeah,
inverted
and then he
fullbacks,
talks good
playing with
way.
two wingers, yes, he talks, he can sell the vision. Then you see Nuno who's been in the Premier League a bit too long at one specific club, the Wolves. It gets stale, players goals, then
Yeah.
the Wolves become not the Wolves that came into the Premier League with all those great players. Then he starts struggling, and you get that guy into your teams. But this is the manager we saw in a team that was in the bottom eight of the Premier League. Is he really that good? But you see an Ange from Celtic, a lot of goals. He sells it well. Okay, we can. It's a bit seductive in that way. Where then you see the results on the pitch. They score a lot of goals. They're pressing high. Okay, this is a team that's coming off three managers Tottenham fans didn't like this.
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho, Conte, and Nuno. Then you say, okay, this is refreshing, but you don't win anything in 10 games, and you don't. And when the bad moments come, it's how you manage past it. So I'm not quite sure how because my prediction would be I feel they'll probably give him till the end of January. If results don't change, this he probably goes sometime early in Feb.
I don't think they'll sack him. This is why.
Bec-
Because Levy, if they were going to sack him, I must have started hearing something. Like before Wande Ramos was sacked, I remember I knew he was going to be sacked. Before
yeah,
something, what's the other one? Jack Santini. No, I didn't know much about Jack. Was it
Martin
Santini?
Yol as well.
No, yeah, before
Martin
I
Yol.
wanted to say before Martin Yo was sacked, I knew the body you could tell. AVB also
Yeah,
you could tell. Uh, Mourinho, a little bit, yeah, a little
No,
bit.
yeah,
Pochettino
yeah,
was
Mourinho, you
surprising
see,
to me. Pochettino was surprising to me.
Pochettino.
I saw I felt because he stood by them, not signing any player. I felt they would stand by him.
Yeah,
So I don't see them. I've not. Maybe they're hiding it right now. Even their fans are divided. Some are blaming. You listen to them call
yeah,
the
there's
radio. Majority are saying leave him. Who's
ma-
Spurs are the only club
majority.
fan. He said,
I think I'm not quite sure, but I feel majority of Tottenham fans see Daniel Levy as a
as
bigger
leave,
issue than the
not and
coach.
yeah. So many of them.
And
So they say keep him.
but
Yeah.
but again, both things can be right at the same time. This is the lowest Tottenham have been in the Premier League since the days of Wandy Ramos. And
But
like it or not,
it's not even the same team right now. It's
I know,
yeah,
but
this guy
but also feel,
just wasted Son's career to me. Because I don't know
yeah,
why he didn't
true.
join Manchester City in his prime. He didn't go to Arsenal. Like at the end,
Yeah,
yes, he's
yeah.
a legend. He sells shirts. Maybe they are giving him a contract where nobody else could give him in England. But I never, with the way he was, this guy was one of the best
Yeah,
forwards.
one of the best. Yeah,
So
but it's, but
and
but again, the joke is come.
even though he's not still the same player, Son is still better than more than 30% or 40%. 30% of forwards in the Premier League, even the Son that we see
Uh,
today.
I'm not sure about that. But again, I just feel it's it's a case that this might be the biggest indictment of what Tottenham are as a football club right now in the football hierarchy in England. Because I don't think any Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or even Man City coach has the kind of season that Anders had and still survives it, regardless of what's happening above him. Because ultimately, during 90 minutes every week and some games in between, the manager is in charge of that team. You're responsible for the results. You're responsible for the performances. You're responsible for the decisions they take, or the decisions you make regarding the team performing on the pitch, and it's just not been good enough. If and I know it's a bit different, but if you see with Ruben Amorim and how he's gone about his United start, he's gone about it in more. He's accepted, he's accepted. We are bad, but we need to be bad. We need to come out of this. We need to come out of this good. We will come
The
out of
young
this very
coach was
good.
talking
But
about relegation. I'm like, no, you can't get relegated. I'm worried.
no,
What you
I know, I
talking
know, I
about?
know, I know, I know, no, but his approach to it is because it's one I find myself thinking about, like, is this the right way? But I also feel this could be what needs to be done in this team, because you need to go to a club that's just been sleepwalking into nothing for the last few years. You need to go into that club and
But fifty
shake it up.
percent of those
See,
Man U starters are not going to be in that club next season.
I've seen more than 50%, and there lies in the problem, because even and this might be the biggest issue he has at that team. Okay, I think just moving on from Ange to United now, who lost. They lost again today. Yeah, they lost again. But I think the long term, the biggest issue they'll find at United is not the coach per se. It's going to be how you sign and recruit players for this manager, because they need, like you said, they need to sell at least 50% of that team.
I
So
don't
that's
know how
selling.
to
You need
tell
to bring
because
in.
people won't pay up for those players.
Yeah, and also if they don't make Champions League, or they don't even make Europe, the earnings go down a lot, so your spending power goes down. And with the
I feel
players,
City
that's
is
what.
in a way better spot because City players are old, so you can just release them and move on. The Gundogans, the
Yeah,
Kevin De Bruyne,
and City,
even they could Akanji, they can get some money from Akanji, Nathan Ake, but
yeah,
United, where
yeah,
do you
yeah.
get that from? You Casemiro, Rashford, Dalo, they
It's
can
not
get.
this,
It's I don't know how I don't know what they're going to the leagues,
and
but the league will
and
still have
yeah,
one like two more seasons to play because aside from
yeah. This is
just
okay,
keeping them.
and that's why I believe they are looking at, or they're exploring options of how to get. If it's a Garnacho or Kobe Mino, Marcus Rashford, those kind of
So
players,
they'll
how
show
to
them.
how to sell. I believe they'll sell one of those two, just to get a bit of cash injection to the club to even finance what they need to do. Because look at, they spent. over 100 million on two strikers, Zexi and Rasmus Holland. I'm not convinced about either of
No,
them. You have
one is going in the summer.
well, yeah, but if you're selling any of them now, you're taking a loss on them. You have
Yeah, but
guys
I think
like
Jackson is going to
Anthony.
be the one because he wasn't all that expensive
You know,
when you signed him.
you know what? I won't be surprised if both leave actually,
Yeah, they have.
and they just
But
I won't be surprised.
see,
But
also I don't think Gyökeres is the answer.
no, it's not. It's I feel because at United, it seems the issues are are so big, but at the same time, if you get the right players and you can solve them slowly. I feel right now, tactically, the biggest issue in that team is the wing backs in the system. And when you're playing, because a lot of people see the 3-5-2 or 5-3, 5-2-3-1 or whatever version as a defensive formation. But I feel it's more down to the personnel that plays in those positions. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're playing Victor Moses as a wing back, that is different
Mm-hmm.
compared to playing a Dalo or Mazraoui because Victor
Mm-hmm.
Moses is a converted winger, so converted from a wing position to wing back, so he has that attacking thrust to his game. But when you play those two guys at wing backs and they can't really push up the pitch the way the formation needs to, or the way the formation requires them to push, you end up getting situation where you're playing five at the back
But maybe
and you're playing
that's
two.
why nobody offered him the job when United offered him the job. Because that
No,
system makes
I,
you have to
yeah,
overhaul a
yeah.
lot.
No,
You know, you said it
exactly. I
before.
feel
I think that system.
yeah, yeah,
Remember when Chelsea moved on with Conte with the system? Every
yeah.
other
We were
was
stuck with a
sorry,
few
right?
players
It
that
was so difficult
yeah,
to yeah, it was so difficult. Then
yeah,
Lampard could
and
the situation is hard. And we were lucky
you
when we had the situation because we already had to me the luckiest thing we had was we had Marcos Alonso who was
also
in Chelsea. If Alonso wasn't in Chelsea, where did we sign Alonso from? It
we
was
signed him
Fiorentina.
from
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina.
I knew him when he was
Like you,
bolting. But I didn't rate him.
yeah,
I remember when
it
he
was
was
Bolton. It wasn't Bolton or Stenson.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and you feel like with the times Chelsea have done or went to those formations with different coaches. The first time I was with Conte, the elements that made that team work were Kante. It was
yeah,
Kante's a ridiculous player. Kante, the wing backs, and also David Lewis. And obviously they said in Hazard they because I feel that formation does not work without Kante, the wing backs, and David Lewis.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because the passing range David Lewis brought from defense was outstanding. And to United, I just see the centre backs, none of them have that passing range or anything close to it in that back line. So you end up playing instead of having centre backs that you play in a three, that they push up, they split, they cover the width of the field, the wing backs are high. You end up having three centre backs within your penalty box, covered by two full backs, that's the five, and you're left with Mikobimeno Ugarte in midfield against a lot of Premier League teams that have good legs, a lot of bodies in midfield. Like against Brighton today, they got caught on the ball several times, getting countered on. There was a lot of space, a lot of gaps in behind them, and when you're stuck like that and you don't really have a lot of players that are just not even not even not good for United per se, but just like general good players. Like if you see that Brighton team, you can count four, five, six, seven of their players that get into this United team. Baleba for one. Even Danny Welbeck gets into this United team right now. The goalkeeper certainly does. Two of the centre backs probably do
Whether
as
getting
well.
into the United team right now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Mitoma, Joao Pedro, Baleba, guys like that. Even the guys they brought from the bench, Solly March gets into the United team. Giovanni Ruta gets into the United team. So that's and this is there's no coincidence. This is Brighton have recorded that they recorded three straight wins at Old Trafford in the last three seasons, and they've done it with different coaches in each of those three times. Graham Potter, De Zerbi, and Hossola this time around. But it shows how stable that club has been in the last few years. How
Brighton
they've
is the only Premier League club to me. Brighton is the only Premier. Maybe if I think deeper, I can think. But right now, Brighton is the number one. Let me say number one Premier League club. When I'm watching Brighton game, I don't care to look at the formation or who's playing. The gap between the starters and the bench is almost the same. You look at Minte,
Yeah,
you look at Adingra, you look at Gruda, you look at Ruta, you look at Joao Pedro, you look at so whoever he takes up, you understand what I'm trying to say. You look
yeah,
at
yeah,
Veltman, I've forgotten
and
who's playing for them. There's a Turkish guy, I don't know if he's a left back. You look at Lamptey, you look at Veltman, you look at the left back, you had Hassan Wood or something like that. I think he's injured now. You had another one.
I think
So,
so.
he has players that he can easily take these, and it's almost the same set of players.
And I feel in a way the problem they've had this season has been
To
they've had a
players too
variety
similar.
of they have a variety of talents where it's hard to find the right starting level.
Yeah,
I
balance.
like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and if you've noticed like all of their games this season he's made 1, 2 changes at halftime because he's finding the right. You have Adingra, you have Minte, you have Mitoma quite similar in
Similar,
style. So it's
yes,
very
yeah, yeah. They have to sell one. Yeah, I get
but
what you're trying to say.
I know, no, but I think for Brighton, they are a testament to what a good football structure looks like in terms of
They can
recruiting
scout.
players, not just scouting, recruiting players, and training those players with the right coaching personnel as well. And but it's not surprised to see them getting good results. But with United, it's just more of the same issues they've had, especially after coming off a good week they had last week or a couple of weeks ago, getting good result against Liverpool and away at the Emirates Stadium, beating Arsenal. But in the last 2 games against Southampton and Brighton, they could easily have lost the Southampton game by a couple goals. Onana was the savior on that day,
Banana
and
is a is
yeah,
a
but
villain
unfortunately
today.
today he cost the final and the final goal today.
To
But
me,
it's
he makes too
just
much high profile mistake. He's a top
it's
goalkeeper that
it's
makes
just
some
like I
overlap.
feel
Because
it's
this has
probably
been his game even while at Inter. If you watch him at Ajax,
I know, but again,
it's high
again, but
profile,
also,
but he just makes mistakes.
I know, but again, but you have to ask yourself what's happening in this club where
I
a
think it's a
lot of good
culture
players.
issue. I think there's something wrong with the culture.
No, it's yeah, you can say culture, but again, it's we come from the same place where we believe in sort of people from our place believe in the spiritual. There's something spiritual there. It's no, no, because I don't know if I don't know if you're reading the when Pogba and his brother had this
Yeah, his
court case. There
brother.
was this
I couldn't
is
open up those stories
yeah,
like.
no, his brother said Pogba paid for a
And I don't
traditional
think they
doctor.
even live in Africa. I'm like, damn.
In one of the documents or one of the text message or whatever.
Until
Pogba
that
brother
case went to court, I didn't believe it when they were. I was like, what are they talking about? Until
yeah
he went to court between brothers. I'm like, what are they?
yeah yeah. Well, so one of the brothers allegedly said Pogba paid for a traditional doctor to bury bury a dead animal at the stadium underneath Old Trafford, a hyena under the stadium. That's why United have been bad for a long time. And you know what? That could just be it. There's there's something buried down there. And if until they have to check it and dig it up. Maybe probably that's why they need a new stadium as well. Because it's not just it's Onana, it's Delete, it's Maguire.
Let's just move
You're
over
saying
to the next guys.
yeah,
The United. 1 week we've not
it's
finished talking
yeah,
about United.
yeah.
Let's talk about the last person, and there's no how we end the day without talking about him.
What's that?
Justin Kluivert, my player of the
Okay.
week. Justin Kluivert,
Playoff. Yeah.
25 years. He should be in his prime right now. I never rated him. Even when I watch him, I'm still having my doubts because of his physique. He looks a little bit featherweight. He's not
Yeah.
physical. He doesn't. But I think Bournemouth, that's how so many of their players, except even Semenyo is passive. The only guy who they have that is aggressive is Evan Nielsen is very aggressive. Semenyo is passive, but he's big. Tavernier
Yeah.
is not really aggressive. Quattara is very aggressive, it's different. But Tavernier, Justin Kluivert, even this Brooks, the young boy, maybe the
David Brooks.
coach
Yeah.
strives with
No,
Kaka is very
no,
aggressive, it's different from them. Like
I know, but you said they're not traditionally aggressive players, or they've not been. But I feel Bournemouth play in an aggressive. They play in an
Yeah,
aggressive
yeah,
way.
they play
They
that.
pro-
They play dirty. I'm
they
surprised people have not said they
no
can play very dirty. And I
they
think it's the
play
coach
very.
that there's no
No,
remember the last time Chelsea played them in Bournemouth Stadium?
uh,
It was
I know.
how
It's
many yellow cards? It were like six.
they're
I've forgotten.
very. I, I think a team like Fulham and Bournemouth particularly. If you want to see gauge how good of a team you are, you look at how you perform against that kind of team because they're a very good Premier League team. They're not. What they're trying to do is not fancy. They don't try to play out of the bar for playing for the sake of
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but they go very direct. They don't rely on possession like because I watched the game against Newcastle. They didn't have a lot of possession, but every time they got
Yeah,
the ball forward,
hold
they
on. Do you
were
know up to the third goal? I was like, when you look at the highlights, you would think Bournemouth was the better side. Newcastle were still in that game till that third goal went
yeah,
in.
yeah. But they don't give and at the same time they don't give away a lot of chances as well.
No, they don't.
The two center. I think again they
And
probably
if you
had
look at the
another team
injury they
that's
have, to me, their coach, their coach should be the coach of the season. I looked at their injury. Clint Hill, who was the right back. Okay, the old guy Smith is the number one, but he's injured. They had Senesi. Senesi, I don't even know if he's still playing. He's injured. You go to center of the
is
midfield.
injured as well. They
One
have
of them,
that
Cook, Cook is injured. He used
focus
to
injured
play
as
with
well.
Christie. Tyler Adams is now playing for him. You look at Evan Nielsen is injured. The Turkish guy Ona something is injured. You look at the left,
There are
David Brooks
two.
is not supposed to be there. They have Tavernier, he's injured. Almost everybody is injured. And that is why I
Yeah,
think Kluivert is having a good season right now because I think the absence of Solanke, because if you look at all of them, they don't really convert they may create lots of chances, but
the,
they don't. So I think he's
well,
converting lots of chances. 23 games,
I think
11 goals, 4
it's
assists. Last season he was 9 goals, 2 assists in 36 games. So he's really and he was signed only for 11 million in 2023. So that's massive.
yeah, but I think with Bournemouth it's one of those things you see, especially in basketball, where you have a star man on the team. He scores all the points, gets all the assists, and that star man eventually leaves. But everybody in the following season, everybody gets their numbers go up at the same time
Yeah,
because
that's
they
what
have everybody
Golden State Warriors used to call strength in
they
numbers. So
they all
because you
this
can bring someone
if
from the bench and then he gives them.
because if you see across the attack, the goals are well spread. Semenyo is scoring his fair share. Ivan Nelson before his injury was scoring a few as well. Justin Kluivert who has two Premier League hat tricks this
Hmm.
season.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
two Premier
they
League
say
hat tricks.
he has succeeded in scoring more goals in St. James Parks more than his father ever
That
did.
that
Playing
I,
his father scored
I guess it's not.
two goals.
I
His
guess
father scored 2 goals, he
I guess
scored
it's
3 goals in St. James Park. And his father played 25 league games. 25, I think 25 league games for Newcastle during his time in Newcastle.
I guess his father can claim him back right now with this good form. But
So
but also but last point on Kluivert. But it's also this is a testament to sometimes players just need time. They need time.
yeah,
They need the right
anytime.
environment to
He
find.
went to
You
Ajax,
see, even
Roma,
it was
Valencia,
Ajax,
Leeds,
Roma.
Leipzig. Jesus Christ, that's 6 clubs.
He went and he couldn't really get that right. He didn't really fit in because there's always a left or right winger. But now he's playing inside behind the striker. And yes, I think on the other day he played as a number 8 as well. And also, it's a bit like the recently crowned African Player of the Year, Ademola Lookman, where
Yeah.
it takes you a while to find your home, and once these players find this place, they and even another player as well who's my player of the week, Alex Iwobi, who's a player that he's looking good this season in
But
terms
also
of how he's
confidence also comes with that because if you
yeah.
look at Justin Cliver's last goal, the third goal, the shot from
Oh
the
wow, amazing
distance,
goal.
that's
Yeah,
confidence. If you are not
yeah.
confident, you
That's
won't try that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When the coach gives
exactly,
you confidence.
and that's why I always, in terms of what players, this whole players want to move. I always say, if you're a young player, like, if you just break into a team or you're a team not getting minutes, the most important thing you need to do is just play games. Go out there and find where you fit in. If you have to move 2 3 times, you make them because end of the day your football career is quite short. and if you don't maximize the most of it, it could go quite quickly. And I was like, and this is, I feel like it's for me, it's a bit personal with this on this matter with Kanye Chukwuemeka for one. Because I
Why
think
is it not gotten alone?
I really I don't know what's happening. I don't know if because the club are willing to sell him, and I don't know if they're fixated on a sell and not a dry loan. But it's something that you can have a discussion and just make if because I feel your value only gets you only get value if you play games. You don't get value sitting on the bench. Kanye
Mhm.
hasn't started it. Kanye has not appeared on the Chelsea bench in the Premier League this season.
Hmm.
He's only played in the Conference League with other Chelsea bench squad players. You have and this is not this is going it's been at this is third season at Chelsea, and between these 3 years he's not had more than I doubt he's played more than 10 Premier League starts. Or even I doubt he's had 10
So
starts in
it's the
total.
second season.
If that because it's just because it's been injuries, you come out from injuries, you're not favored, so you have to. If I'll be I'll be having discussions with my agents and my people who are in charge of this with the club. I need to go. I need to go play games. And look at a team like Bournemouth, for example. You can go to a team like Bournemouth with all this injury problem they have. You can contribute. You can go and just ultimately enjoy your
And
football because the way it is
imagine Kane in Leicester City, even if they're
exactly. I
struggling.
know I
Behind
know
them
it's
is
tough.
Vardy,
Even
because they have
yeah,
today they have Somare, and then they have like four players who are just the same. Somare, Ndidi,
a copy of a
Wings,
copy.
and yeah.
Yeah, it's just and if you can't get in the Premier League, there are other if you take a chance, you go abroad. You've seen how successful it's been for players like the Tamis, Tamuris, Lookmans, those kind of players. You go, you find a good team, a good team where you can get good minutes in Serie A or even in the Bundesliga. You go there, you take that because at the end of the day, it's just flat line and you just end up seeing yourself being where you shouldn't have. Because Carney is as good as they get when it comes to the Premier League. I
Yeah,
believe he can be as good as they get because he has the size, he has the pace, he has the touch, he has the dribbling, he has the running power. He can be. He reminds me a bit of Loftus-Cheek as well. When Loftus-Cheek
yeah,
first broke in, wasn't getting enough minutes. Went on loan to we had a good loan spell at Crystal Palace. Makes the England World Cup team in 2000 and I think 2018. The World Cup with the first World Cup with Gareth Southgate. Gets a few games within for the national team as well. That is what you can be if you
and
get
also I
good
think
games.
he
So
didn't
like
manage his career so well. He stayed too long in Chelsea.
yeah, it's no because I feel the moment you get to Chelsea and you get okay, you get unlucky with injuries because that happens, and you've had what's happened this season, where for whatever reason the club have decided to sell you. I don't know if it's because it's financial or they don't see or the coach doesn't see the. It's also hard to see how you fit into the team when you have guys like Felix and Nkunku who can get into the team. You're way below that you're way below in that pecking order. And I don't like you saw with Chalobah. I know the way it was handled wasn't the best of situations. But he left Chelsea, went to Palace, and he's had a good season. He scored
The
three
very good
Premier League goals so
season.
far. He had a very good loan spell at Crystal Palace. That's what you can get. That's how you showcase your talent and increase your value as well. So it's all tough, but I wish in the next couple of weeks he sorts it out. Because if he ends up staying at Chelsea again, that's just a waste. It's terrible waste.
Okay, that should be all from us for today. Uh,
Okay.
please join us next
Yeah.
again by this time next week. Thanks for watching. Do have a great weekend.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Nice catch up. Bye.